There's a lot of different things going on, not to mention we're talking about a bullet wound that was not even recorded in the policeman's report.
Yes.
Which they did have an eyewitness, the actual undertaker, who's a witness to the bullet wound. But I think we have enough to go on that, and thank you for your time.
We have photos of my brother's body we got from the coroner's office out of Austin.
Right.
And we had several attorneys look at this case, and they looked it carefully over. They read all the documents and looked at the photos. They mentioned also that my brother was killed, wrongful death. He was killed, he was murdered.
Okay.
The last attorney we had to look at this was out of Victoria. And he stated the same thing. He stayed up 2 o'clock in the morning reading over all these documents, looking at the photos, him and his partner.
Now, the attorneys that you're referring to, do you remember any names of the attorneys who declared that this was a wrongful death? Do you remember their names and what cities they were practicing in?
This was in Victoria.
In Victoria? Do you recall any names, or at least last name or anything?
I have his name on one of my cards.
Right. But of course you've got the paperwork, the documentation where you could easily look up.
Yeah.
Okay. The transactions current. Okay.
He carefully, like I said, looked over all the documents, read them all. He stayed at about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
But he wanted to do something with this case. He tried all he could to try to have his case reopened.
Right.
And he, like I said, looked it over carefully. And he said to me, when he finally looked it over carefully, he said, Tilley, he said, your brother was murdered.
Okay, I have just learned that the attorney that Mr. Tilley was referring to is a Mr. Dexter Eaves out of Victoria.